Big Mom's house. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah.
Welcome back to Big Mama's House, y'all. This is Papa's Sports Series episode, and you are in for a treat because my man is fabulous. Here's Papa.
Hello, y'all. We have some interesting things to talk about. First, me and Mama's going to talk about a couple things. First, it's about the Eagles quarterback sneak. Their version of a QB sneak is called the TUSH push, or what they're calling it now is the brotherly shove. Okay.
And because you guys are the city of brotherly love.
Yeah, so they're calling it a brotherly shove.
That's clever.
And it's not an illegal move. It's not an illegal play. Okay, it's not a rugby.
They even had a special meeting just to vote on it this summer.
Yes, they had what's called the competition committee in the NFL. They got together, they voted, and they all voted favor for it, at least for this year. Well, I have seen it done in college. Okay, there are some college football teams have done it. Most have failed because you don't have a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds. Okay?
It's like a tank.
Just like the New York Giants who tried it the other night. Daniel Jones, your legs are like toothpicks. You're tall and skinny, but you're not going to execute the tush push very well. Okay?
You need a tank at the front of the line,
Yes.
and that's what you got.
Well, not just that, but I mean, Jalen Hurts. Well, basically, Jalen Hurts is a tank. Okay? He's a big dude. You know, he goes like 240, 250, and that's pretty big for quarterback. He's 6 foot something.
Yeah.
And he can squat 600 pounds.
So I'm saying he's a tank.
Yeah.
They just push that tank right over the line.
And they don't even need, to have the tush push from behind or the brotherly shove from behind. All right? If they would just run a regular quarterback sneak, it would be successful because of the quarterback. Okay? So this proves with these other teams, hold on a second, with these other teams trying it and failing, it proves that it's not an illegal play because not everybody can do it.
Yep.
Okay? It's a special play. And it's as legal as a handoff. It's as legal as a screen pass. It's as legal as any other offensive play they run.
So what I'm hearing as a non-sports aficionado.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty blunt. I'm going to say what I think it is.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that they're too big of pussies to be able to do it themselves, so they're jealous, so they're trying to outlaw it because they know they can't defend it. And that means that the Eagles are going to win and they're jealous.
Exactly. If it's 4th and 1, they know that basically the Eagles are going to pick it up because they're going to run the brotherly shove, the tush push. Actually, a tush push is easier to say. The tush push.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're going to get it because not just Jalen Hurts squats 600 pounds, but you have those 5 guys in front of them, all right, are the best in the league.
Yeah.
They're one of the best offensive lines out there. Okay. So, I mean, you have a defensive lineman. I seen this past week with the Commanders. The Eagles got called for offsides. The Eagles, Landon Dickinson, the guard, was not offsides.
Okay.
Right? What they seen was Jason Kelsey's left hand. He's the center.
Yeah.
And the center is allowed to be over the ball because he's the center.
Yeah.
Okay. But then they didn't see was the nose guard for the Commanders having his hand underneath the ball.
Oh.
Okay. So I don't understand how you not see that. And they called offsides, illegal formation, whatever it was at the time, on the Eagles because teams are crying, boo-hooing about the move. So now the officials are trying to chime in there, helping them stop the move by calling these bogus penalties.
Well, then they should be fined or fired because if it's not against the rules and they're like nitpicking a certain team, that's obvious, and they should be fined for it or fired because, and that's my whole thing with every major sport.
Suspended at least.
Okay, umpires, referees, whatever, they are given too much power, and there is not enough regulation over them.
Yep.
To make sure that their education is uniform, that they know the right things to look for, the wrong things to look for, things that are actually against the rules and which aren't. Yep. And to be fair, and like if you have a favorite team, you should not be an umpire or referee.
Oh, they all have their favorite teams.
But I'm saying
everybody has a favorite team.
Shouldn't be allowed to umpire for those teams.
Well, I'm not for certain, but I'm pretty sure they have to write down. They probably have to do like some sort of application or whatever, and they're probably not allowed to do those.
Look at how the games have gone ever since you and I known each other. That's obviously not true.
Yeah, I mean, even
it's obviously not true.
Here, okay. there's been some, like in football, all right, there's been some, convenient flags at convenient times for certain teams. Okay.
I've heard.
There's also in baseball, all right, been convenient strike zone at convenient times for convenient teams.
I remember about that too.
I mean, in fact, there was an umpire who was actually kicked out of the umpires union because he's the worst umpire in the history of Major League Baseball.
Hell yeah.
All right, as far as calls, balls, and strikes. And then when Bryce Harper had a check swing, and yes, he checked his swing, he did not swing. All right, Harper got PO'd, told the umpire about it, and then Angel Hernandez threw him out of the game. Angel Hernandez is no longer an umpire in Major League Baseball.
Excellent.
He is no longer an umpire in the association. He can't even step foot as far as an umpire. I'm sure he can go to games and watch them or whatever. As long as
Why
he
would
pays
you
a
want
ticket.
to?
As long as he pays a ticket. Yeah, but everybody knows his face. It's not, you don't wear a mask at the third base at the third base umpire.
Yeah.
The first base umpire. You wear a
Let's
mask.
be real. Not everybody would know because I could run that dude over in my car and I wouldn't know who he
but
was.
the players know.
Oh yeah.
The coaches know.
But if they're up in the stands somewhere,
The other umpires know.
they're not going to see some random up in the crowd.
I'm sure he's probably going to stay away from baseball.
I would hope
for quite a long time.
Here's the thing, though. That should happen more often, and it doesn't. And there's a million bad plays, okay, or bad calls or whatever.
Yeah.
Bad calls is what I meant. And it's stupid. And I ask every year, why are they still umpiring? These are the same umpires we've been bitching about for years, and nothing ever happens. And that's why I can't do it, because if it's not right, I can't. It makes me crazy. I can't.
Here's my opinion. If it's a strike, call it a strike. If it's a ball, call it a ball.
Right.
If it's off the plate, it's not a strike. Okay? If it's above the waist, I mean, back when I went to school and played baseball, the strike zone was from chest to knees.
Yeah.
It ain't no more.
Right.
Okay? It's basically belly button to knees. All right? If it's in that area, it's a strike. If it's not a strike. Easy peasy. It's easy. You're behind home plate. You know what a...
You've umpired,
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. But, I mean, you're behind home plate. You can see the ball way better than anybody else.
Yes.
But as far as football
And if
goes...
you can't, don't umpire there.
Exactly.
Umpire to different base where it's maybe
Well,
not so...
they rotate.
But I'm just saying, if that's
Yeah.
not something you are good at, don't make it be like, hey, man, I can't do home plate. I'm not good at it.
They can't do that.
But I'm saying then they shouldn't be working there.
Well, you're right. They should get fired.
Exactly.
Because if anybody else can't do their job,
They get
they get
fired.
fired. But anyway, back to the tush push or the brotherly shove.
Okay.
Chris Sims, I was going to bring this up a while ago. It's too late now. Nobody cares about you anymore, about what you said. I know you didn't really mean it as far as when you said kill the quarterback. But you should watch how you word things from now on, especially when you're on air and that microphone's in front of your face and that camera's in front of your face.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't say to do it. He said, to be fair, okay?
Yeah.
The guy,
headhunting.
the other guy was saying, what can you do if the owners, won't come together and put a stop to it?
Let's say kill the quarterback.
And then Chris guy, what's his name? Chris
Sims.
He's like, well, the only option would be to kill the quarterback.
Go headhunting. But what he doesn't understand is Jalen Hurts' head is not high enough to go headhunting.
Exactly.
Okay? He does it so well that his head is hidden in between either the left guard and Kelsey, which is the center, or the right guard and Kelsey, who's the center. Okay? His head's like right by their butts. Which is not the best place to be. But I mean, he's not going to get headhunted.
No, but there's ways to go after a shoulder or a wrist
I mean, yeah,
or an elbow.
I don't like
knee,
it when
or
they
an
run
ankle.
when they run it multiple times a game because yes, your quarterback Jalen Hurts could get hurt.
Yeah.
He could get a concussion. He could hurt his shoulder. Okay.
Especially if there's a well-known broadcaster, saying, "Oh, well, you can just do this."
Yeah. Yep.
And even if it's not endorsed, quote unquote, endorsed by your coach or your team or whatever, it might give somebody who's a little pissy about the situation not the thought to do it, or the encouragement to do it.
There were coaches back in the day, all right? In fact, he's coaching now, but he stopped coaching for a while, but he's back in the league again. Sean Payton, who got fired, or not, actually suspended. He got suspended for putting bounties on quarterbacks and running backs.
Well, he
should.
He shouldn't have a job now.
Well, he does now. He does now. He's back. He's with the Broncos, but he's not a very good coach, in my opinion. But as far as I'm gonna stop the brotherly shove. I said my opinion on it. But here's the thing: it's not illegal So people should stop saying it and stop talking about it.
Yeah, either figure out how to defend it or get the fuck over it and
Yeah,
prepare to lose.
exactly. Or prepare to give up a yard,
Whatever.
okay, or a touchdown, all right, or think of better ways to
Yeah.
do it. I mean, I just don't know how these D coordinators, after a year and a half,
Yeah.
all right, of this move, okay, a season and a half, not figuring out how to stop it.
Yeah, like that's her whole job.
Yes, and thank you for not finding out how to stop it. Okay. Now, here are my picks for the week. Okay, we got me and Mama. I'm going to do my week 5 picks are coming up. Sorry about last week. I wasn't able to get on here to do week 4 picks. But I did finish 13-3 with my picks last week. My picks are doing way better than my fantasy football teams. So at least something as far as the season is going good for me as far as picks goes. But my picks for this week, okay, I got the Commanders over the Bears. Okay, that's tomorrow night. The Commanders are actually, they played Philly tough last week. But as far as being they're actually going to be in the mid as far as power rankings. They're not going to be actually a high good team. They might make the playoffs, but they're better than the Bears. The Bears are just a wreck. You know, they're just a dumpster fire right now. So I got the Commanders beating the Bears. For the Jags at Bills in London, I have the Bills beating the Jags. The Bills are a better team than the Jags are, so I got them beating them. Texans Falcons, I got the Falcons beating the Texans. For the Panthers versus the Lions, I also got the Lions beating the Panthers. Panthers are still winless. They're just not going to be very good this year. Then we got the Titans at Colts. I got the Titans beating the Colts because the Titans had a big win last week over Cincinnati. I think they're going to have a good win this week over the Colts. Then we got the Giants Dolphins. Giants are just as bad, in my opinion, as the Bears, except they have one win. They shouldn't have any wins, but they're a bad team right now, bad organization. I got the Dolphins beating the Giants. Saints Patriots. Patriots have a couple players that got hurt last week. Both going to be missing games. The Saints just, I think, are overrated. I don't think they're as good as everybody thought they'd be. I do have the Patriots winning that game over the Saints at New England. Then we got the Ravens at Steelers. It's a conference game. That's a division game. I do got the Ravens beating the Steelers. Even if Pickett plays, Ravens defense will be too much for Kenny Pickett. And Lamar Jackson will be too much for TJ Watt and the Steelers defense. I got the Eagles beating the Rams. The Eagles, I don't care what people say, they're 4-0. Last year, people were putting Philly down because they didn't have no competition. You know, they're beating their teams too easy. This year, they're putting them down because they're saying, well, they're not blowing their teams out this year. Haters, stop hating, start respecting. 4-0, they're winning. That's all that matters. Eagles win again, 5-0. Then I got Broncos at Cardinals. Actually, no, sorry, Bengals at Cardinals. I can't read my writing. I got the Cardinals beating the Bengals because Joe Burrow is not very good this year. Joe Burrow is actually hurt, and the Cardinals actually should have a couple more wins than what they did. But the Bengals are not going to be winning this weekend, and probably not many games from here on out. Jets Broncos. Sorry, and I got the Broncos this game. I got the Jets beating the Broncos. Even though they're at Denver, I think Zach Wilson played really good against the Chiefs last week. In fact, I think the Jets should have beat the Chiefs if the ref would have kept the flag in his pocket like he should have. You don't call holding calls all game, but you wait till that 1 second. It just reminds me of the Super Bowl all over again. Sorry, but I do have the Jets beating the Broncos. Then I got the Chiefs over the Vikings. The Chiefs will win again. It'll be a good game. I think the Vikings at Minnesota will give them a good game. But I think the Chiefs and the referees will ultimately come back and win that game. Then we got the Cowboys at 49ers. I get the 49ers winning that game. I don't believe in Dak Prescott in that offense. There's hardly any. You have CeeDee Lamb on the receiver side. Tony Pollard's a good running back, but he's not a great one. On the other side of the ball, you got Christian McCaffrey. That's all you got to say. They got the Cowboys defense. They're playing at San Fran too, which helps. The Niners are just plain and simple a better team than the Cowboys. The 49ers win. It's going to be a close game, but they're going to beat the Cowboys again. And then on Monday night, I got the Packers at the Raiders. I got the Packers beating the Raiders at Las Vegas. I just don't think. I mean, the Packers aren't that great either, but I think the Raiders are worse. especially if Garoppolo is hurt and doesn't play or doesn't want to play. I do have the Packers winning that game. If you when you hear these picks, if you want to comment or disagree with a couple of them, like a couple of my Chiefs friends out there who are just want to say I'm salty about the Super Bowl yet, whatever. It's just true that the Chiefs do have they're like the Patriots. They have certain refs in their pockets anymore. That's all there is to it. And and that's right. Fly Eagles fly. They're better than the Chiefs. But now I'm going to go to my power rankings. I'm going to go cover these real quick. There's some changes I had last week. I wasn't able to go over them last week with the podcast, but I got the Niners at number one. They're still undefeated. Their games they've played way better than my Eagles, who is also undefeated, but they've played better, so they're number one. My Eagles are number two. You can't be undefeated and not be one of the top two teams. I'm sorry. I don't care what your games look like. You still won. Okay. The Bills at three. Since the first week of the season, they looked bad against the Jets the first week. The last three games they've won or 3-1. So they look like probably the best team right now in the AFC, even better than the Dolphins and the Chiefs. At number four, I got the Cowboys. I don't like. I mean, they've been fluctuating between one and here, 1-4. Their defense carries them. Their offense is nothing special. Dak Prescott is not that good. He's still, and when he plays a good team, when he plays Niners this week, it's gonna prove that he's not that good. Number five, I got the Dolphins. They came back to earth. They scored 70 points on the Broncos, who's one of the worst teams in football. But they scored 70 points. But then they played a good team in the Bills, and they only scored 20. And they got blown out themselves. So they're a team that you can't get head over heels about yet. It's still early about with the Dolphins. Number six, I got the Chiefs. They won over the Jets, but they barely won. But I still got them at six. Number seven is the Ravens. Number eight, I got the Lions. Number nine, I got the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are actually a surprising team this year. I think nobody expected anything from the NFC South. If anything, they expected the Saints to be better. But right now, the Buccaneers, they put it to the Saints this past weekend, and they're my number 19. Number 10 is the Seahawks. They're actually not as bad either. They beat the Giants, but who doesn't beat the Giants anymore? The Cardinals should be the Giants if they want to fell apart the second half of the ball game. But the Seahawks are my number 10 team. And all these, my power rankings are fluent. It could change week by week. Number 11, I got the Jags. Yes, they beat over in London. They beat the Falcons, but the Falcons aren't that good. This week they play the Bills. So we'll see how good they are when they're playing one of the best defenses in football right now in the Bills. Then we got the Rams at 12. They're actually a surprise team this year. Eagles play them this week, so we'll see where both teams stand as far as being overrated or underrated. Number 13 is the Chargers. 14, I got the Commanders. Commanders are actually a tough team. I think they could make the playoffs. There could be three teams in the East that make the playoffs this year, just like last year. Because we all know the Giants ain't going to make the playoffs. I got the Browns at 15, even though Watson's a baby, he doesn't want to play. Which he's my fantasy team. He's on the bench. I just might get rid of him because I don't like players like that. If you're not hurt, if you're cleared to play from the doctors, you play. That's all there is to it. Number 16, the Patriots. Patriots are a hard luck team. They got blown out by the Cowboys this week, but the Cowboys didn't really beat them as much as the Patriots beat themselves. Mac Jones beat himself basically with the fumble and the pick six. If it wasn't for that, it'd been a lot closer. That's for sure. Number 17, I got the Titans. They're up and down. They could be higher next week, could be lower next week. I got the Colts at 18. I got the Saints at 19. I got the overrated, underrated Falcons at 20. The Jets at 21. I got the Vikings at 22. I got the overrated Packers at 23. I got the underestimated Texans at 24. I mean, they've been a tough team. Cardinals at 25, another tough team. They're playing to win. They're not tanking for a top pick. I got an underachieving team in the Bengals. Coach, just take Joe Burrow out of the game. Don't let him play. Let him get healthy first. If it means this season's done, you get a higher draft pick. But at least you'll have a quarterback that's healthy. Okay, you can't put Joe Burrow, who you just signed an extension to, your future, okay, of your team, Your franchise quarterback, you can't keep him in if he's hurt. Sit him. You're 1-3. Then I got the Steelers, who I thought everybody overrated in the first couple weeks. They're at 27. Defense didn't show up last week, which was very disappointing because I picked them. That was one of my 3 losses. Raiders at 28. Raiders are just the Raiders. They're just going to be the Raiders. They're just not going to be, as long as they have Josh McDaniel quarterback, or as far as coach, they're not going to win. 29, I got the Broncos. Again, a dumpster fire. 30, Giants, dumpster fire. 31, Panthers, young team, young quarterback. Not this year. They got a couple years to go yet till they're any good. And the number 32 team, the Bears, a dumpster fire. So for basically, I think the only team that has a future right now are the Panthers from 30 to 32. All right, so right there, that's my week 5 power rankings, my week 5 picks. Again, leave the tush push alone. Leave the brotherly shove alone. All right, if you stop crying, if you can't stop it, try harder. So I got to say, don't cheat to try to stop it either by putting your fingers underneath the ball. Okay, it's just ridiculous. Chris Sims, watch what you say on air. Okay, because it could get you in a lot hot water. I don't care if you're unbuttoned. I don't care if that's what that show's called. I don't care. Just watch what you say. But again, another going to be another great week of football coming up, starting tomorrow night with the Bears Commanders. Should be a good game. Hopefully, the Bears show up to play. I hope I pick the Commanders, but hopefully the Bears show up to play to make it a decent game for Thursday night football. The Phillies are actually in the playoffs. Go Phillies! They won last night. First game wild card. They beat the Marlins 4-1. They're up 1-0 tonight. Hopefully they win tonight and they move on to the division series. But right now it is a good time to be a Philly fan. Both the Eagles and Phillies. Sixers aren't that bad either. Flyers have a future. But right now, if you're a Philly and an Eagle fan, it's a bright future for both teams and a bright present at the point in time. So right now, that's all I got. Until next time, fly Eagles fly, and subscribe. Thank you.